The Taj Mahal didn't appear overnight. It wasn't built in a year or even 5. Every stone, every arch, every carving tells the story of more than 20 years of relentless work. Because before the Taj Mahal became a wonder of the world, it was simply a promise made by a grieving emperor. The story begins in the year 1631. The Mughal Empire was one of the richest and most powerful empires on earth. Its capital overflowed with wealth, art, and extraordinary craftsmanship. Yet even the greatest emperor could not escape heartbreak. Shah Jahan wasn't just an emperor. He was also a husband deeply in love. They spent years together, traveling across the empire. Mumtaz wasn't only the queen, she was Shah Jahan's closest companion and trusted advisor. Then, in 1631, everything changed. In June 1631, while accompanying the emperor during a military campaign, Mumtaz Mahal died after giving birth to their child. She was only 38 years old. For Shah Jahan, the loss was almost impossible to bear. According to many historical accounts, he withdrew from public life for a period of mourning. But grief alone wasn't enough. He wanted the world to remember her forever. That single decision would begin one of the greatest construction projects in human history. The year was 1632. Construction officially began on the banks of the Yamuna River in Agra, but the land wasn't ready. The soft riverside soil could never support a monument this massive, so the builders came up with an extraordinary solution. Instead of digging one giant foundation, they dug hundreds of deep wells into the ground. Each well would later be filled with stone and strong materials to create a stable foundation. But building the foundation was only the beginning. The builders now needed enormous amounts of white marble, not from Agra, but from the marble quarries of Makrana, nearly 300 kilometers away. Moving a single marble block was an engineering challenge of its own. Some blocks weighed several tons. Thousands of workers, oxen, and elephants worked together to transport them. Day after day, the white stone slowly arrived in Agra, and only then could the monument finally begin to rise above the ground. By 1634, the massive marble platform was beginning to take shape. This enormous platform would support the entire weight of the future monument. Only after years of preparation could the walls finally begin to rise. Every single block had to fit perfectly. A mistake of even a few centimeters could weaken the entire structure. Precision mattered more than speed. Thousands of skilled craftsmen worked together every single day. Stonecutters shaped the marble, carpenters built the scaffolding, while engineers made sure everything stayed perfectly balanced. By the late 1630s, the Taj Mahal no longer looked like a construction site. Its towering marble walls now dominated the skyline of Agra. But the most difficult challenge still lay ahead. The giant central dome. It would become one of the largest masonry domes ever built. There were no cranes, no engines, and no electricity. Everything depended on human strength, animal power, and brilliant engineering. To lift marble nearly 70 meters into the air, the builders created an enormous earthen ramp. It stretched for hundreds of meters. Elephants dragged the marble upward, while hundreds of workers pulled alongside them. Every meter demanded patience, precision, and perfect teamwork. Piece by piece, the giant dome slowly began to rise. But the dome wasn't the only engineering marvel. Look closely at the 4 minarets. At first glance, they seem perfectly straight, but they actually lean slightly outward. And that wasn't a mistake. It was brilliant engineering. If a powerful earthquake ever struck, the minarets were designed to fall away from the main mausoleum, helping protect the monument at its heart. With the structure complete, the real artistry could finally begin. The Taj Mahal wasn't painted. Its beauty came directly from the marble itself. But the builders wanted something even more extraordinary. They carved tiny spaces into the marble and filled them with precious stones. This technique is called Pietra Dura. Each flower could take days, sometimes weeks, to finish. And together, thousands of these tiny masterpieces covered the Taj Mahal. The walls weren't the only masterpieces. Master calligraphers carefully carved verses from the Quran into the marble. Every single letter was carved with incredible precision. The letters near the top were actually carved larger than those below. From the ground, they all appear exactly the same size. Even the writing was designed to fool the human eye. By the early 1640s, the monument was nearly complete. But one final masterpiece still remained. The Taj Mahal was never meant to stand alone. It was designed as the centerpiece of an enormous royal complex. Workers now turned their attention to the famous Charbagh gardens. Every pathway, every tree, and every flower was placed with perfect symmetry. Then came the long reflecting pool. For the first time, the monument reflected back at itself. By 1653, after more than 2 decades of work, it was finally complete. More than 20,000 craftsmen and laborers helped bring this vision to life. Marble arrived from Makrana, while precious stones came from distant lands across Asia. Every journey, every stone, and every carving became part of a single masterpiece. Nearly 4 centuries later, the Taj Mahal still stands, not just as a symbol of love, but as proof of what human imagination, patience, and craftsmanship can achieve together. Because the Taj Mahal wasn't built in a single moment. It was built one stone, one year, and one dream at a time.